It is an honor to be in attendance and to highlight the importance of academic freedom to the Sustainable Development Goals alongside the distinguished representatives from Education International, the Latin American Council of Social Sciences, and UNESCO. I'd like to first thank the Coalition for Academic Freedom in the Americas for conceiving and organizing this event, the Open Society Foundations for acting as host, and the Special Rapporteur, of course, for her exemplary efforts in coordinating and introducing the landmark report on academic freedom. As you all know, the Rapporteur's report emerges at a pivotal moment. The Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights reported in April that all 12 universities in Gaza have been destroyed. And since then, thousands of students across the city have been targeted, injured, and killed. Now, despite the sense of hopelessness that the humanitarian crisis in Gaza invokes, the plight of Palestinian students can and must prompt the international community to prioritize the right to education in emergency situations and to protect the right to academic freedom for all students, regardless of national identity, partisan affiliation, or personal opinion. And yet, as we've heard from our speakers, a great gap evidently exists between the ideal, the protection of academic freedom, and its implementation in Israel, in Palestine, and around the world. For beyond the reach of war and the suffocation of occupation, students, even in stable nation states, are vulnerable to violations of academic freedom. Here in New York City, the seat of this esteemed gathering, students in recent days have been arrested, suspended, expelled, dispossessed of housing, and deprived of work, not by bombs, bullets, or by unaccountable generals, but by the schools themselves. At the City University of New York, as students assembled on the quad, police marched through the gates at the instigation of the university, arrested, detained, and hauled students one by one to the station. At New York University, as the posters and the protest art were power washed from campus walls, administrators sent out their pre-written letters of suspension one by one to the students who had stood up and expressed their opposition to the inhumanity of extermination. And at Columbia University, as students returned to their dormitories, proud of the principles that they had bravely embodied, they were escorted from their rooms, locked out of their dining halls, and forgotten one by one on the city streets. In our democratic society, democracy ends at the gates of the university. Students are evidently made vulnerable by their isolation. Persecuted and fragmented, their right to academic freedom can be stripped away in a moment by a private security guard, police officer, or soldier. The shortest path to protecting academic freedom is to permit students to protect themselves. This August, when Bangladesh armed forces and police opened fire on students, were protesting the inaccessibility of government jobs. Rather than escalate, student unions stood in solidarity and practiced nonviolent civil disobedience. Even when the Ministry of Education shuttered schools, even when the government imposed a national curfew, even when the military instructed soldiers to shoot on sight, student unions persisted, calling in one voice for the reopening of schools, the reinstatement of equal access to employment and the resignation of the Prime Minister. At the end of the month, Prime Minister stepped down and student unions stepped in, organizing to recover their schools and reclaim their education. In effect, they took the first and most challenging step in limiting the tyranny of external influence over the university. Student agency and organization transforms legal doctrine into social reality. The right to association in particular, and the introduction of student unions, equip students in even the most unforgiving contexts to preserve their right to education and to protect academic freedom. Fortunately, when academic freedom is under attack, as it is today, there is a tendency to forget the purpose and continuous importance of education itself. Participation in class discussions, speaking as a student, is meant to awaken the latent powers of students, draw out nascent ideas, and refine them through free exchange, even when those ideas are controversial or implicated in contentious geopolitics. Teachers exist to play an indispensable role. Acting as guides, teachers provide intellectual direction, improve the quality of discussion, and refine the ideas of students. Through the guardianship of the teacher, human personality develops and finds its shape. Now, rather than repressing that sacred relationship, university administrators ought to recall their true purpose: create a community of learners unified by a shared belief in the power of ideas and dedicated to the transformative experience of free exchange. Now, in moments of emergency, real or contrived, we must remember that winning an argument or an altercation, or for that matter, remaining silent in the face of a brutal bombing campaign, results in an indisputable loss of learning, bringing us all a step farther away from finding a resolution, making peace, laying the foundation for sustainable development. Global Student Forum aims to center and elevate the student voice at the United Nations as the global umbrella of secondary school and university unions. Forum brings together 190 national and regional student unions from across Africa, Asia, Europe, and the Americas, democratically representing 300 million students from 125 countries. We look forward to strengthening collaboration with civil society organizations, member states, and UN agencies as equal partners to continue to protect the right to academic freedom, collectively work to ensure that no student anywhere in the world is forgotten.